Hey, all praises unto Yahweh Shemi Shai. Okay, double honors to the apostles of great millstone. And ownership brothers will be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. So I don't know how long I'm gonna do this video. I've got some articles I wanted to go into, possibly some scriptures towards the end. But pretty much, this is gonna be I'm gonna probably entitle this Judge DRED Coming to a city near you, okay? Because that's what you're seeing being pushed forth more and more often. Now that Esau is ramping up his maneuvers, okay? Because we all knew this was all coming, okay? You had some scoffers coming up, and they was talking all of their madness, of which, if we was going to go into the scriptures, that would be a pretty much a good place to start. So if we go to the Blue Letter Bible, I'll use the Blue Letter Bible instead of opening up the apps and so on and so forth. I'll go out here. And if we go to the Blue Letter, we'll put the scoffers in there. What you was going to have is people talking about walking after their own lusts, okay? Walking after the desires of their own hearts. Pretty much believing that the promise of the Most High wasn't coming forth for the men of the Lord. Now we know that this is a thing of them being willingly ignorant, okay? Because the scripture talks about a willingness to be ignorant, of which you ain't supposed to be willing to be ignorant. You're supposed to be awoken to the fact that you're a Hebrew Israelite. You're supposed to be woken up to a fact that Esau's going to come down here, and he's pretty much going to turn his police force into this, okay? Judge, jury, okay? Prosecution. Okay, and pretty much when you see this image there's not much in it. Okay, there's not much in it. Okay, this one's a bit more futuristic and is a bit more artistic. Okay, but the fact of the matter is, when a man is holding a gun, a machine rifle, a rifle, if you will, okay, and they're walking up and down your so-called malls and that's sending a very, very powerful message. They're saying, if I deem you to be doing something worthy of this judgment, and this judgment gonna play out. It's a very powerful image, okay? And that's how Esau works. You know, Esau knows how the power of this of these images. Okay, now he could have had it to where more officers were there and they had, smaller guns or whatever, of which them, what they're holding in their hand, that ain't gonna stop the supposed terror that they're protecting against, okay? But we know that terror actually comes from the elite banking families orchestrating all of these things, okay? So that they can have these police officers out there, okay, holding these guns within their hand, right? It's a very powerful image, very powerful statement that's coming from the elite banking family saying, look, we are the law, okay? We're the ones who run this, okay? We're gonna send out a police out there, and they got the power now to be the judge, the jury, the prosecution, okay, the witness, the second eyewitness, all that. These when you see that, you ain't thinking the dude is gonna be thinking there ain't gonna be no questions, man. Okay, they ain't gonna stop you and say, look, dude, what you doing out there? They just gonna pull that trigger, man. And for a lot of these different officers that you got out there, if you go to this particular article that I got in the background right here, for a lot of these geezers out here, okay, they're used to watching and playing Call of Duty. So to give a dude the wacko zappo, okay, that's just a thing that they've just gone acclimatized to. Their mindset, they're itching to pull them triggers, man. They're itching to go out hungry for these devils, man. Okay. So let's start off with these scriptures right here. This is the book of 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter, and the 3rd verse. It says, knowing this first, that it shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lusts, okay? And these are the dudes that come up against the truth saying, look, when is this martial law going to come to pass? When is your God ain't coming, okay? But this is a fulfillment of what the scripture says, man. This is a fulfillment of what we've been prophesying for the longest. How that you're going to have martial law implemented on a wide scale. Okay, now, we're in the early stages of it. Okay, But the fact of the matter is, when this goes into high gear, you really think that they're gonna allow the men of the Lord just to, okay, these dudes, we're gonna let them speak. It's, you know, it's Saturday. Let them do what they're gonna be doing. Look, when this thing goes high gear, we're gonna go into a time that's known as the famine of the word. Okay, so the men of the Lord ain't gonna be out there. Okay, so for these guys that their whole life revolves around scoffing, they ain't gonna have no life. But see, here's the thing about it. Whereas the men of the Lord are going to be looking for and praying unto the coming day of Yahweh Shimei Shai, because they was out there doing this work. These guys that was scoffing ain't got nothing to look forward to other than their own destruction, because they was coming up against the same men, okay, that the Most High is gonna have mercy on. But to further that idea, to further what I'm saying right there is what? That you're gonna be classed, right, within that same category as the men of the Lord, because you was watching the same videos we was watching. You were studying the same information that we were studying. Hell, you was on the comment boards, okay, on the study. Now you could say, oh no, I was posting comments that was nah. That's not how that algorithm's gonna work. Okay, that's not how that computer is gonna see it. That's gonna say, okay, look, that's a threat to our so-called new world order. Okay, and then they gonna send a geezer just look just like this. They might even give him the helmet. Okay, they gonna send this geezer there, and he's gonna be the judge. Okay, the prosecution. Okay, the eyewitness. Okay, second eyewitness, third eyewitness. He's just gonna be the same. He's gonna be the entirety of it. And when you see how these different, when you see the psychology of these different geezers out here, their whole mindset, they're itching for that. Because as far as he's concerned, as far as these police are concerned, you're the scum that's holding this society back. Here it is, his pension's being cut. Okay, his money is weak. Okay, he's thinking in his mind, nah, this is the work of niggas, man. Okay, this is the work of the scum of the earth, because he ain't looking at the Rothschilds and saying, look, the Rothschilds have been stockpiling money towards themselves. They've actually haven't had it to where if I got the cut of the pie, the Edomite pie. Okay, he's looking at you niggas, you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, thinking, man, they're the ones that are stopping my financial progress. And as far as he's concerned, he's willing to give you the wacko zappo. Okay, for him to in his mind, he thinks that's gonna give him what he desires. Okay, so let's go back onto this scripture right here. So it says this, what that they're saying, where is the promise of his coming? Okay, for since the fathers have fell asleep, all things continue as they did from the beginning of the creation. Okay, so it says what? For this they are willingly ignorant. Okay, so it's not a thing of you don't see what we see, or you don't. Ultimately, it is a thing of you seeing what we see, but you have ears that you don't perceive these things. Okay, you have eyes that don't perceive these things, ears that don't hear these words, man. To you, it's irksome. Okay, to you, it's like that bad, you know. It's like that song. Okay, and whenever it comes on the radio, it just pisses you off. That's what this truth is likened unto them scoffers out there. Okay, it's just that bad song. They just hate it. It just irks them to it. So they're willingly ignorant to it. They don't want to hear the lyrics. They don't want to hear them because it starts ringing in their head. Okay, cutting everything that they're doing. Okay, going up against the fabric of their mentality. Okay, of their mental. Okay, so it says, for this they're willingly ignorant they're willingly ignorant of that by the word of Yahweh Shimei Shai, the heavens of old standing out for us. So it goes into something else. So pretty much, let's get into this article right here. Okay, and this is really the premise. Okay, the thing that I was really looking, to have out there. So it says, countering terrorism. Okay, human rights requires the state to take steps to protect the right to life. Okay, which includes measures to prevent terrorism. Now, if there was really about that statement, okay, because you have to understand the idea that they're pushing forth. Okay, so if we take a step back and say, okay, look, boom, this is what happened in Manchester. This is what happened out there within France. This is what happened out there within America, 9/11, etc., etc. If we say all of that's the result of terrorism, well, why are those individuals doing that? Well, because they feel that America is the enemy. Well, why do they feel that America or Britain or France is the enemy? Because America, Britain, and France have gone all into their countries, taken their natural resources, they've raped, they've robbed, they've murdered, okay, and they've left their whole country in a topple. But ultimately, it goes deeper than that, because that's not actually what's happening. Not only do they go out there, rape, rob, murder, and take all of the natural resources in them countries, they then set up puppet governments, and then they set up puppet terrorism groups, because all of these puppet terrorism groups operate underneath the influence of the elite banking families, man. So it's all a setup. It's all a big game that these elite banking families are playing, okay, in order to obtain the entirety of the whole world. But they're not going to achieve that. What's going to happen is that is a fulfillment of what the scripture says. When he's about to fill his belly, the Most High shall put him in straits. He's going to be in difficulties, man. Okay, so it says, however, any measures to counter terrorism must be proportionate and not undermine our democratic values. Okay, and this is where it gets juicy. In particular, laws designed to protect people from the threat of terrorism and enforcement of these laws must be compatible with the people's rights and freedoms. But see, these people have been so they've been so duped. Okay, they've been so entrenched in making sure that the life that they've grown accustomed to, going out there to Costas, okay, Starbucks, okay, having your little Wednesday movie, okay, having your little coffee breaks. Okay, that lifestyle that you've grown acclimatized to, watching Suits. Okay, all right, that lifestyle you've grown acclimatized to. Okay, they're so infatuated by that lifestyle that they've grown accustomed to, that they don't want none of that to be eroded. And it's so wanting that what these people, and you really speak to these people, they're saying, look, let them just send the military out there. Okay, these guys, these boys over here, let them just send them out there. That'll stop the terrorism. Okay, yeah, but what you're not realizing is they're eroding your so-called civil liberties. Okay, they're eroding your so-called civil liberties, and that's beautiful for us, because that means we, as in the men of the Lord, we're getting closer to the Lord's return. But for them, you've been duped. Hey, but see, that's why the scripture talks about how there's been a darkness that's clouding over these people, and they're being played. Okay, but ultimately the Most High is playing them. Okay, so that this thing can pop off, man. Okay, the establishment of the kingdom of Yahweh Shemel Shai. So let's carry on with this. It says, however, right, any measure. So we read that. So it says, yet all too often the risk of terrorism has been used as the basis of eroding our human rights and civil liberties. Okay, and it's going to go into some examples. It says from 1969 to 2000s, Parliament has passed a number of temporary prevention terrorism acts, which include powers of internment and the removal of the right to trial by the jury in Northern Ireland. Okay, after the tragic events of September 11, 2001, emergency laws were passed which allowed for indefinite detention of foreign individuals. Okay. And it says who was suspected of terrorism. And it says suspected of terrorism. And these are old ones, man. Let's go and get into some juicy ones as we get towards the bottom. Okay. So let's carry on with this. It says until individuals could be detained for an unlimited period at a maximum security prison despite never being charged, let alone convicted of any offense. After 2004 ruling, the indefinite detention breached human rights laws, and they're getting rid of them human rights. Okay, they're getting rid of that, so you could forget all about that. Okay, detention was quickly replaced by the control regime in 2005. Following 2010 Home Office counterterrorism review, control orders were scrapped in 2012, but were replaced with something almost identical, replicating the regime's worst aspect: terrorism prevention and investigation measures, okay, or TPIMs. In other words, whenever you see certain companies go bust, what do? They go out there, they declare bankruptcy, and then they create a new business under a new name that works exactly the same. Maybe some some minor changes so they could actually establish it as a different business, but for all intents and purposes, it's gonna be what? It's going to be an identical business. Well, you're seeing the same thing being passed as legislation. Okay, hey, and you see the same thing within the monetary system. Okay, when you had mortgage-backed securities, well, they're doing the same thing now. They just rebranded it, renamed it. Why not? Okay, and the same thing you're seeing out here within the judicial system. Okay, as pertaining to this, who they deem to be a terrorist, and that's the beautiful thing about it. Okay, that's the key word about it. Is who is deemed to be a terrorist. Okay, who's gonna make that decision? Okay, that's gonna be Judge Dredd out here. Judge Dredd's going, oh, that guy is holding a campsite. That's a terrorist. Okay. Oh, that guy's on a comment board. Well, he must be watching them videos. A part of him's gonna be down with that. He must be a terrorist. Okay, and then it's gonna be judge, jury, prosecution. Okay, witness 1, witness 3. Okay, witness code number 15. They're gonna be all of that, man. Okay, so it says like control orders, TPIMs allow for indefinite house arrest. All right, others and other sweeping restrictions on individuals' freedoms, right, on the basis of largely secret intelligence and suspicion. So if they create some sort of secret intelligence about individuals, or this guy had he was conspiring to do this, that, and the third, they could see pretty much what you're seeing now is that they could do whatever they want. Okay, what you're seeing from these laws is that they could do whatever they want. If they decide this dude is problematic to their so-called New World Order, well, guess what? They could falsify some information. Okay, or they could say someone's prevented this falsifying information. Okay, and if you and upon suspicion, and you can see that in the black and white. Upon suspicion, you can be detained indefinitely. Okay, indefinitely. Okay, so it says there, but that's just the start of it. Okay, that's just the start of it. Okay, so it says there, maximum period of detention, which without charge, for most criminal suspects is 24 to 96 hours. But between 2006 and 2011. Terrorism suspects could be detained for up to 28 days without charge, despite this period being far longer than the period of pre-charge detention in any comparable democracy. Parliament also considers proposals for first 90 days and then 42 days pre-charge detention. Before it was replaced, Section 44 of the Terrorism Act 2000 allowed people to be stopped and searched without suspicion. Okay. And overly broad power was used against peaceful protesters and disproportionately against ethnic minorities. Okay, so that's what they was doing out here. You get stopped, searched, and they'll fuck up your whole day, man. Okay, it says broad news speech offenses impact on free speech and non-violent groups have been outlawed. Okay. Schedule 7 of the Terrorism Act 2000 is breathtakingly broad and intrusive power to stop, search, and hold individuals at ports, airports, international rail stations, and it can be exercised without the need of any grounds of suspecting the person has any involvement of terrorism. Let's read that again. Okay, it says, of the Terrorism Act 2000, it is a breathtakingly broad and intrusive power to stop, search, and hold individuals at ports, airports, international rails stations, and it can be exercised without the need for any grounds of suspecting that person has any involvement in terrorism or any other criminal activity. So in other words, you're stopping. Okay, why? Because we're saying you're gonna stop. Okay, it says this means they could be used against any that it can be used against anyone a police, immigration, or custom officers chooses. Okay, it says powers like this are ripe for overuse and abuse. They are invariably used in discriminatory fashion. Okay, with stops based on stereotypes rather than genuine suspicion. Because who is really, here it is, they're telling you about terrorists, but see, what's the image that really is pushed as the anti white rule image? Okay, it's Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. Because when Trump's talking about liberating America, he ain't talking about liberating black, so-called black America. Okay, he's not talking about liberating Harlem. Okay, which I think that's been genocide now. Not genocide, gentrified now. Okay, he ain't talking about liberating those areas. He's talking about liberating so-called white America. Okay, so what's the true image of terrorism within these different places? They're saying, look, we just gotta get rid of all of them. Okay, the blacks. Okay, the bearded Muslims. We just gotta get rid of all of them, and the people is down with that. Okay, so it says in 2015, the government. But see, the whole point of this video is, look, it ain't just you; it's anybody that's against the order of the so-called New World Order. Okay, they're the ones that are gonna be everyone that fits in that category, as you've seen from this, is hey, they could stop them and do whatever they want with them. Okay, this is in 2015 government. And what do you think this image is? So here it is, we're reading about the judicial system, but really, what this image is completely against that. They're not saying we're gonna prosecute. They're saying, look, we're gonna shoot you. Okay, because here it is, you're seeing the law and the process that they're going to go through before you get to put, whether they're going to decide if you're going to go into prison or not. This is what they're saying is actually, no, it's not all about, see, so they're saying, look, we don't even give a damn about that. Okay, here it is, you got a so-called laws that have been put in place that they're saying, okay, look, we can do whatever we want with you. Okay, here's what's in black and white. We can do whatever we want with you. And then they're saying in another statement, in another imagery, they're saying we don't even care about that. Even though we can do anything with you if we go through the so-called proper means, we don't even care about that. We just gonna shoot whoever we want to shoot, and they could literally do that. Okay, and then they could say, okay, oh, so how did you this, that, and the third, and now they're gonna go to the left and say, look, that's the loophole. That's why I did what I had to do. Okay, so it says in 2015, the government passed the Counterterrorism Acts, which includes passport seizures, retention powers, regime of exclusion of orders with the risk of exposing British citizens to torture. Okay, torture's coming back. The guillotine's coming back. Okay, statutory terrorism prevention duties for a whole range of public bodies, including universities, schools, data retention powers, and provision which seek to breathe new life into a widely discriminated TPIM regimes, which we read about a little bit in the above. It says in 2016, the Investigatory Powers Act, or Snoopers Charter, introduced the most draconian surveillance regime. So if you go into a Draco law, you know what that word draconian will mean. Okay, so draconian surveillance regime or democracy in history, right? It lets the authorities hack thousands of devices en masses, okay? Forces internet providers to collect our browsing histories to make available to dozens of public bodies mandates, all right? Collecting of huge banks of data on everyone in the UK, much more. So from the combination of these two things, you can see that, look, whether you go down the route of law, okay, you go by the book, they can do whatever they want. But what they're really pushing forth is that we're just going to do whatever we want anyway, okay? And I'll finish off within this scripture right here, within the book of Jeremiah, the 30th chapter. Okay, this is Jeremiah, the 30th chapter. Okay, Jeremiah 30 and Jeff. Salakia. Right, so let's go to Jeremiah, the 30th chapter. Okay, and I'll go straight to the point. This is the third verse. It says, "For lo, I'll read from the third chapter, from the third verse. So it says, "For lo, the days come, saith the Lord, when I bring again the captivity of my people Israel and Judah, saith the Lord, and I cause them to return into the land that I gave their fathers, and they shall possess it." So in the process of this happening, this is what's going to happen. Okay, so so in the process of the men of the Lord being out there teaching His word, these are the things that's going to happen. Okay, it says after these words, after this word came spoken concerning Israel and Judah, it says, "Well, thus saith the Lord, I've heard a voice. We've heard a voice of trembling, right, of fear and not of peace. Okay, ask ye now whether you doth see a man travail with child." Okay, as if a man was pregnant, he's got his hands upon his stomach. Okay, right, just messed up in the spirit, man. Okay, right. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands upon his loins, as a woman that's in travail? It says, and all faces are turned into paleness. It says, alas, it is the day. It is a great day. So not only is like it. It's the time of Jacob's trouble, but it shall be saved out of it. And when you're seeing this, when they start to enforce it and they start to drop dudes. See, you've heard about police brutality. What about these police, man? And this is a common thing now. I'm in my town, and my town ain't prominent for nothing. You're seeing that. That's your day-to-day, your so-called day-to-day police officers now. They're just out there now. Okay, so what happens when they start to be brutal? Well, guess what? Rounds is gonna be getting emptied, man. Okay, rounds is gonna be getting emptied, and you're gonna see dudes with their hands upon their stomach because they thought they could be, you thought you had your civil liberties, you thought you had your freedom to be slick. Okay, but once you see them clips getting emptied, okay, when you see so-called police brutality by way of these people's hands because they've been watching too much Call of Duty or something like that, then you're gonna know, like, wait, hold on a minute, we're living in a different time now. Okay, we done murked away all of our so-called civil liberties in the fight and countering terrorism, quote unquote. Okay, and in so doing this, they're just gonna be the judge, the jury, the prosecution, witness 1, witness 15, witness 17. They're just gonna do whatever they want to do, man. Okay, and that's the imagery that they're pushing forth out there. That's the image that's being pushed forth. So hopefully that was of edification. I'm gonna say, double honesty, apostles of great millstone. Honestly, brothers, that be pushing this truth and sincerity. I guess, I get a lot of these ideas from watching, certain individuals' videos. I ain't gonna name names, but pretty much, I get these ideas from watching other people's videos, man. And that's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be staying in the spirit. And the Most High sups with you, and you get your own ideas, and you do different things, and some things is similar, but you try to put your own flavor to it, So that I'm gonna say, all praise unto Yah, Bashim, Yahshai, double honors to the apostles of great millstone. Honors you, brothers, to be pushing this truth and sincerity. Now, Lord's will, I'll see you on the next one. Shalom.